even the angels, nor the Son, only the Father. Now, it's very interesting to note that Jesus, you have to look at the text very carefully. Jesus didn't say, I don't know the coming. He didn't mention himself in first person. He didn't say, I don't know. He said that the Son, the Greek word huion, doesn't know. You see how he was speaking in third person, not in first person. Now, I think he was doing that because, right, he knew that the witnesses were going to exist, okay? And he knew that people were going to deny his deity. So he was very careful to say that the Son doesn't know. He didn't say, I don't know, the Greek word ego, right? He didn't say, I don't know. He said that the Son doesn't know. Now, the Greek word huion there in the text has to do with Jesus' second nature, not his initial nature, if you will, not his original nature. So what's the conclusion? Well, in John chapter 14, verse 28 again, to reiterate before I let this study go, Jesus said that the Father was greater. However, he didn't say that the Father is greater. And he didn't say that the Father is better, as a matter of fact. Let me say it again. Jesus didn't say that the Father is better than I. He didn't use the Greek word crειττων, he used the Greek word mειζων. Now, if he would have said that the Father was better, the Greek word κρειττων, then the Jehovah's Witnesses has a point in denying the deity of Christ. Well, he didn't say that though, okay? He said that the Father is greater. And I just said to you guys that the Greek word for Father, pater, is found 23 times. Let me see if I can do this right. Okay. 23 times in John chapter 14. So what is that telling me? Well, he is comparing. Remember that the Greek word mειζων is a comparative. That's what it's called. It's an adjective, the Greek word mειζων, and it's called a comparative adjective. We already went through the stages. If I say I'm nice, but somebody that I know is nicer, okay, and somebody that I know is the nicest out of the three of us, well, we have stages, you have degrees of adjectives in Greek. Okay, all right, now, that's not denying that Jesus is great, because if he's greater, meaning the Father, well, then Jesus has to be great in order for him to compare himself to the Father. Now, again, Jehovah's Witnesses cannot use John chapter 14, verse 28, because Jesus didn't say that the Father is better. He didn't say that. Now, why would he say that the Father is greater if Jesus is the same nature as the Father? Well, because he became man, because Jesus became man, well, that's the coup de grace. Man is never greater than God. So Jesus as man, you see in there the limitation of the second nature comparing. Remember, mειζων is a comparative. So you see that he's comparing himself to the Father. Okay? But he is comparing himself in the second relationship to the Father, not in his first. Because doesn't it say in John chapter 5, verse 18, that making himself equal to God? Well, that's what he was doing. Now, the Greek word equal is the Greek word, okay, isos. Okay? And that Greek word is also recorded, all right, in Philippians chapter 2 in verse 6. And actually, the Greek word there is isa, and actually that's a neuter plural, and it means equalities, all the equalities that the Father has, the Son has. Let me repeat that. All the equalities that God the Father has, the Lord Jesus Christ has. Now, let me prove that Jesus is Jehovah God. Okay? In Zechariah chapter 2, verses 8 and 9, in the NASB, now in the Hebrew, it's actually verses 12 and 13 in the Masoretic text. But in the NIV and NASB, we see that recorded in verses 8 and 9 of Zechariah chapter 2. Now, what is that saying? Well, you see that Jehovah is speaking there. Now, you have to tell the witnesses this, because they don't believe that Jesus is Jehovah. That's their tough luck, and they're lost, by the way. Okay? Now, it says in Zechariah chapter 2 that Jehovah is speaking. The tetragrammaton, meaning the word Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, number 3068 according to Strong's, is in the text of verse 8 of chapter 2 of Zechariah, and verse 12 of chapter 2 of Zechariah in the Masoretic text. Masoretic text means the Hebrew text that was made by the Masoretes, the Hebrew scribes that worked on the Masoretic text. And so the tetragrammaton is there. Okay, and Jehovah is speaking. So, but in the next verse, in the NIV and the NASB in verse 9, in the Masoretic text, chapter 2, verse 13, it said, "So you may know that Jehovah has sent me." Now, according, and I have to leave soon because it's 45 minutes, but according to that text is telling me that Jehovah is speaking in verse 8 of chapter 2 of Zechariah. And he says that somebody sent him in the next verse, in verse 9, in the NASB and NIV. So, if he said somebody sent him, right, in verse 9, okay, apostolke in the Septuagint Greek text, okay, shalakani, it says, has sent me, the Hebrew word shalakani. So Jehovah said that somebody sent him. But we see that that same Jehovah who's saying that somebody sent him, okay, he said that somebody sent him in verse 9. And it says that Jehovah, okay, sent him. But guess what? Jehovah is speaking in verse 8 of chapter 2 in Zechariah. So you cannot say that Jesus is not Jehovah, because it says Jehovah sent Jehovah in Zechariah chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. So you can't say that Jesus is not Jehovah, because it says that Jehovah sent Jehovah in Zechariah chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. Well, my time is running out, guys, okay? The clock went off. So I have to let you guys go. I hope this came out. I really hope that this came out, that you're not just seeing my leg or just seeing the top of my head or something like that. I just hope that you guys saw it. And remember that my YouTube account, the old one is Angelo K, that's K-Y-K-Y, Quinones. A-N-G-E-L-O space K-Y-K-Y space Quinones, Q-U-I-N-O-N-E-S. Now I have a second YouTube channel, okay, and that's found by you typing in, okay, Angelo space K space RUCCI, that's spelled R-U-C-C-I, space Quinones. That's my second channel. Now you can call me at 917-200-4002. That's 917-200-4002. Now you can email me at quinonesang@yahoo.com. That's quinonesang@yahoo.com. Now, I don't only witness to the witnesses, because I feel sorry for Jehovah's Witnesses, because they were led astray. They were led in the wrong path. Okay? by people who didn't know the Greek, who didn't know the Hebrew, and maybe possibly didn't even know their own name. So I invite you guys to call me anytime and discuss the deity of the Lord Jesus Christ, or the Trinity, or the resurrection of the dead, because it's recorded, okay? I believe in Acts chapter 24, verse 15, that God is going to raise the just and the unjust. So the witnesses can't even use Psalm 115, verse 17, because guess what? They got to read verse 18, and that's just the deal all across the board. Okay, so this is just the first of many studies that